It sounds pretty cliche, but it is true. Paper does matter. This is part 2 of my mixed media process, and today I'm using Arches watercolor paper, using most of the media that I used in part 1. I'll leave that link down below if you're interested in watching. Here is the preview for today. I will start my mixed media process with watercolor, then I will go into Inktense, Neocolor 2s, Kuretake clean colored pens, and then I'll top everything off with my Carn dry gouache palette. Hope you'll stick around and enjoy this video. I have included the reference picture if you would like to paint with me. Just pause and take a screenshot. Alright, here we go guys. Let's start off with doing a little bit of wet on wet. So I'm going to go in with my Neptune size 8 round brush and wet the background around my butterfly. I did my preliminary drawing with my Pilot Color Inyo in yellow. Still going in with my M-gram watercolors. And like that, the magic begins. I love doing this method wet on wet. You get all of these gorgeous effects with these colors bleeding and blooming and running into each other. I truly think that's why many of us love watercolor. It's so versatile and it has the potential to do so much. You can go in with loose, more expressive painting, and you can hone in and tighten areas and make them more detailed and realistic. The reason why I wanted a blurred background, my objective is to have that fuzzy and out of focus look in the background and have the butterfly detailed and more sharper image to create some depth. I'm trying to get different values and colors to give it some dimension. And so I keep going, looking at my reference picture and trying my best to match the values and colors that I see. Building up some opacity in certain spots and leaving some of it transparent. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry and then I'll come back and add some more media. Alright, so we are back and I did some coloring with the Inktense. I chose cadmium yellow and lemon yellow and I just popped that in. This is not completely dry, but it's dry enough that it won't move around on me as I work on this. So I just need to be careful when I activate this with water. And I am very curious to see how the Inktense works on top of this Arches watercolor paper. Here we go. Ooh, oh, wow. Nice. Vibrant. Beautiful. So my friends, it looks so much better on this watercolor paper. My mixed media paper in my Strathmore sketchbook did not do these Inktense justice. I'm gonna put a little some of this over here. So good, guys. I love it. Much better, of course, than this paper the sketchbook comes with. Paper makes a difference. Alright, so actually I'm going to try some of these Carn Neocolor 2s in spots to see how it looks. Just to test it out. I'm just going to put it, oh, that I don't want that color, but since I dropped it there, I need to put it on this side for symmetry. End up pulling out Scarlet. It's a little more vibrant. What I wanted. Pop in some blues in here, just getting the general shape. And then I'll go in with the gouache and tighten things up a bit, fine tune it. Mix a little bit of this lighter blue on top. Time to activate with water. Ooh, that's nice. See how it dries. This paper's great for this. When I was working in my other watercolor sketchbook, the Speedball brand. It did do really well with the Inktense and this Neocolors. This paper, this mixed media paper, I'm not going to buy this sketchbook again. It's not my favorite for sure. I'll use it up, but after this I'm not going to buy another one. I'm sure it works well for other people, but for how I work, doesn't suit me. Oh my gosh, this is so nice. I feel like with this arches, it really shows you the potential of these media here that you can activate with the water. It's made for painting. Okay, so while I finished this part up and activating the Neocolor 2s, I wanted to take a quick moment to tell you some tips, or a main tip for mixed media. Anytime you want to use a material for mixed media, you really want to go and test it out and take it for a test drive. Try out that medium and experiment. Take it to its limitations. See what it can do and what it can't do. Dedicate some time and try different techniques. It is well worth the effort. Make sure to take notes and notate anything that you feel that you want to go back and remember. And after you've done that, make a small experimental piece by employing those new techniques and methods that you learned. My goodness, you guys, we have a visitor. Here she is. She woke up and she wants lots of love and attention. Hi, Dinah. Didn't add much of the Kuretake, but let's activate it. Okay, this isn't so bad also on watercolor paper. But I think I do like it, the Kuretake, better on the mixed media. Turns out this works better on the Strathmore mixed media paper, and that's because the watercolor paper is too absorbent for these markers. We're back and it's a few days later. This has lifted, which I should have known to stick it after. Because of all the water that I saturated the paper with, it has lost its grip. So that's what's happened, but that's okay. I'll re-adhere it once I'm done painting. So I'm gonna go in with my Carn dry gouache. Overall, I am quite pleased with the results, and I'm much happier with part 2 results than part 1. And that's because I love the vibrancy of my media on this watercolor paper. A little trick to getting symmetry when I'm doing butterflies is if I make a mark on one side, I'll go ahead and do that on the other side. And so I will alternate from left to right or right to left, make a mark, and go back and forth until I have completed the pattern. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a bit to save some time, but you get the general idea of how I do this. You may have heard me mention this before, but my process is to start from very general, very basic, and build on top. So I am slowly building up in layers and details. I must reiterate how wonderful this paper is. So I had such a much better experience with all the media except for the Kuretake, and this gouache is so much better on this paper because, well, it's made for painting, and it was quite great to experience it on this paper. This was my favorite part to paint. Maybe because it was towards the end and I was getting over a cold, so I was quite ready to complete this work. I did not use black. I ended up using the cool blue in the gouache palette along with the brown to make this dark color that is a chromatic black. And how can I forget, this part was fun too. It was quite satisfying seeing those little details really pull everything together. I'm going back and revising the color on the wings, adding darker areas where the yellow is more deeper and rich and saturated, and desaturating it with some white. Going in with a clean brush and just work it into the base color. Add more water as needed. Cleaning up some areas to fine-tune and refine. My secret to getting that sparkle effect is stippling different values of the colors that I'm working with. I will always finish off with my highlights last. And my favorite part, the tape peel and art reveal. This is what it looks like in the end, and I am quite pleased with the second round. I'm so thankful that you joined me today, and if this was helpful, entertaining, and or fun to watch, please don't forget to give it a like. It is a free way to help support me. You can see the difference in vibrancy in the colors being more saturated watercolor paper versus the mixed media paper. Hope you have a wonderful and creative day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.